region around the Great Lakes has been called the heartland. When it comes to agriculture, there's hardly an area in the world that compares.
Everybody, just hold on. I don't know what we're going to have here.
There's a lot of self-proclaimed geniuses out there that know the national yield, but they're all wrong. So,
manage money, piling in.
Double digits higher.
At this point, we're in kind of uncharted territory.
there's a lot of money on the sidelines. So that was a crazy one.
That's what brings the viewers back. That a boy.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's War Room time. Good morning, everyone. This is the AgYield War Room. It is Friday, September 19th. If you don't know me, my name is Jack Coakley, AgYield Marketing Manager, everyone's favorite backup host, and secretly two kids on each other's shoulders under a trench coat pretending to be an adult. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop us a line. We'd love for you to join the conversation. We're always answering questions or comments or concerns at email or info@agyield.com. That always trips me up. I want to say email, but it is the email. So info@agyield.com. That's the email. Anyway, let's go over to Brian with some opening numbers.
Thanks, Jack. Overnight was a little higher overnight in the corn and beans. D's corn up 1 3/4 at 425.5. Nove beans up 3 at 1040.5, and D Chicago wheat down 1/4 at 524. Looks like early this morning, Taiwan inked a $10 billion ag deal. Still need to find out all the details on that, and I think the market kind of awaits the phone call between Trump and the president of China at 9 a.m. Central. So we'll see how that all plays out today.
Lots going on. So let's shoot it over to Dustin, get his thoughts to wrap up the week. And yeah, go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, lot to figure out here. This U.S.-China call obviously is a big one. U.S.-Taiwan ag purchases, right, could be, I would have thought, more of a response if they're talking about buying $10 billion a year. We're at this like weird precipice of, we got these kind of technicals that we're bumping up against for corn. I'm going to try to load up a chart here right now. If you can put that up there, Jack. It's this is the D's 25 corn chart, and I'm sure a lot of people have been talking about it online. This gap fill at 432 3/4. I think we've mentioned it a couple times. But we're kind of riding this ridge of this 100-day moving average in blue as well, and we've been unable to fill the gap. So if we get some positive news to end the week, we still have these big concerns about yield in Iowa. Yields coming, kind of so lackluster in many parts of Illinois so far. Disease pressure, I think, 2025 is going to go down as the year of Southern rust. What does that mean? I mean, the USDA has been projecting Iowa at 219 based on yield surveys and satellite imagery. We're starting to get into these early yields as well too. And I would say, so far a little disappointing, definitely less than last year for the anecdotal yield reports we've heard from Iowa. But all of that excitement is kind of being built into this 10% rise off the low right now. And I still think when you start to get into some of these other states, and I know there's a lot of people online kind of poo-pooing what the far west can do to kind of bring up the national yield, because Iowa and Illinois are, down for the year. But what if, even if I mark down 10% from the current projections, Iowa, Illinois, we're still talking about a massive increase in production than we've ever seen before because of the acres, if we just keep all the other states at the current USDA projections. So you do more of like a macro view of like, okay, just let's concede Iowa and Illinois yields are down. How is the balance sheet going to end up still? And we still have a lot of excess demand written down, huge feed demand number. I know our export numbers are what everyone's talking about, and that makes sense that's where a lot of the support and the enthusiasm for corn is coming in. But we still have to prove, I think, a lot of things when it comes to feed. And really prove that we can continue to export at this aggressive pace all the way through our window, and we're not going to hit a wall of South American corn at some point. Year over year increase, 20 million metric tons that we may have to compete with South American production. So that's just where I want to kind of just take a step back, and I know that we're pretty geared up to be, rising because of Iowa yields. But I do want to just kind of remind ourselves that balance is key here. If you happen to be in one of those areas that's above average yields, this rally is kind of a gift. If especially if you're not insured all the way up to 95%, even if you are insured to 95% and your yields are 10% above average in your area, you're not in an insurance payment because the revenue is there from extra yield. So I just want to kind of take point just to make note of this latest corn rally and this gap fill. It's kind of a critical point to be talking about this. We could just as easily rally another 30 cents as we could break 30 cents. So I don't know that it's going back down. I just know that we're starting to see where risk starts to rise again if it goes back down, especially if it continues to go down after October when insurance is expired.
Gotcha. Thanks for that, Dustin. Brian, I'm going to throw this question at you. I'm not even a grain market expert by any means. I just do the marketing around here. But, if there's one thing, a pattern of behavior I'm noticing with you guys is there's always this peaks and valleys, the hype for optimism with China and U.S., it goes all the way up and then it comes all the way crashing down. It's been a real headache for you guys for quite some time. What's in your mind, the ideal, at 9:30, 10 o'clock today, what's the ideal outcome for this conversation? Is it Xi and Trump holding soybeans and juggling them together? Like what does it look like?
Yeah, I mean, we've got any sort of commitment from China that they're going to start purchasing U.S. beans. I think that'll be a good savior for us. We'll see how that all plays out. Obviously, you just never know. So I think, like Dustin said, balance is really key. There's definitely some really good areas out there still. Like the West is hopefully sees how they are, maybe pick up the slack from the Illinois and Iowa areas. Guys that have, structured products on hand, if you guys are out producing, give us a call. We can start looking at, some, basis. It's very competitive in some areas still. These elevators have to get some grain on hand here. So if you do have some premium contracts, please give us a call. We can look at that as well for you. Looking at the river situation, I was just looking at Memphis on the Mississippi, looking to go down almost 9 feet below threshold as we hit into October here. So that's just going to cause a logistic nightmare. And then we talked earlier this week on the PNW, there's just no demand. Obviously, if China does make a commitment, that's going to start speeding up because right now there's really no bids out there to the West on beans. So you're going to see a lot of guys probably storing beans just based on this kind of scenario, but that all can change today if there is some good talks ahead of us. So we'll see how that all plays out. But the balance is very key right now, I believe.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that too, because I think, Brian said it perfectly. If China, just commits to start buying something, the market will take notice. Right now, they've bought 0 U.S. beans. Trump has posted on social media about them specifically. They need to start buying U.S. beans. So that's a frustration on his part. So I can't imagine that that's just going to be completely disregarded in talks going forward, maybe on this call today even. It's the only thing that came out of the last trade war, Trump 1.0, was that they agreed to buy a $50 billion per year package, which is like an insane number, especially when you're starting from lower prices. Like you got to buy a lot more volume to get to that number. So if they were to agree to something even bigger, because I just think that's how Trump is like, that's going to even be better than the last deal. And it's something like 60 billion. I mean, the market, I just think, has no pricing of that into it, in my personal opinion. So that's where it could get pretty exciting, because I remember the first time this was announced back in January 2020, everyone's like, oh yeah, good one. We'll see how that's going to happen. And then all of a sudden they were the largest corn buyer overnight. They'd never really bought more than 7-8 million metric tons in a year from anyone. And all of a sudden they're buying 27 million metric tons of corn in the first, year and a half. And it's like, that I think is something we cannot forget, is that the market is probably geared up to take it a lot more seriously if there is something announced, right? So far, they've been playing pretty good hardball. And I think the wind is out of everyone's sails that anything can get done with China, including ourselves. So it's been, prove it. The market's got to go prove that something can get done. But if it does, I think that we would take it more seriously this time around as a market. So just kind of keep that in mind, because there's a lot of people that are also like, oh, nothing's going to happen here. So.
Right. I wouldn't be shocked if they come out and said Trump is announcing his personal TikTok account, and that was the big news from his conversation today.
Trump owns TikTok. That's the announcement. He's majority share. So.
Fantastic. Let's see. So we'll keep our eyes and ears out for that. Ryland, let's go over to some livestock stuff. What's going on over there?
Yeah, well, we bounced back a little bit yesterday. I mean, we started to see cash roll out here at a little bit lower money, 236 to 237. So that's down 2 to 3 from last week. But the South's still kind of sitting at 240 right now. Dress down 6-7. So overall, just kind of weaker tone. I think you baked a lot of that in. Market still really wants to hold that 40-day moving average. So at this point, you really haven't changed too much. I think we got a little bit of apprehension before this cattle on feed report today. I mean, obviously, placements would be the lowest in 10 years if they came out kind of right around where the expectation is, but still expecting both on feed placements, marketings, all to be down, you know, this from the previous year. So it's still going to be seen kind of longer term bullish if it comes out, you know, anywhere close to those numbers. So we'll see what they say. Beef price is still kind of leaking lower here, but obviously the market just doesn't see any real supply relief now. Or any time, I think, between now and the end of the year. So it looks like that trend's still going to hold. On the hog side of things, just some slight liquidation yesterday, which I think is warranted, especially going into these talks with China. I mean, hopefully there's something on the ag side, but I don't know if anybody's really convinced that that's going to happen. I think a lot of this deal is TikTok oriented. So I don't know how beans and hogs are going to play into this, but I mean, hey, we'll stay optimistic. I mean, definitely hoping for something here. But cash was a little bit lower on the hog side, down $1.11. So it's first real kind of weakness we've seen this week. And overall, it just feels like you kind of got a lot of that sentiment still kind of baked in the market now. So it just seems like here we are. Carcass was a little bit firmer. So overall, you kind of coming into a mixed bag here today, maybe just a little bit of, you know, kind of wait and see approach to see if there's anything ag related on this call with Xi Jinping.
Works for me. Thank you, Ryland. All right.
Oh, geez.
I was gonna, you know, cue you up first, but it's everyone's favorite day of the week.
The costume change.
Yeah. Brian's Fun Fact Friday. Take it away, Brian.
Thanks, Blackjack Coakley. Oh, happy Friday, all you scallywags and scurvy dogs. Yes, you guessed it right. It's National Talk Like a Pirate Day. It all began in 1995 between two friends who were joking around playing some sort of game called racquetball. I hope they were just using some rackets against a coconut or something like that. Not too very sure. Even Krispy Kreme got into the fun of the game here. Anyone that dressed up like a pirate got a free donut. The National Weather System, they wanted to join in as well. Bend down your hatches, a storm's a brewing. So here are some of the real fun facts of true pirates. Pirates didn't bury treasures. They spent it on booze, food, and entertainment. Walk the plank, you scurvy dog. You parrots were not a common pet. They got brought up in the books because the sailors would trade exotic animals. They usually had cats to kill all the rats. And Ryland, you would like this, a monkey, just for the chaos that it would presume.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh, scurvy, like I've said. Scurvy's a pirate killer for sure. That lack of vitamin C meant teeth would fall out quicker than gold from a broken chest. Rum, our favorite rum. Oh, yo-ho-ho in a bottle of rum. Wasn't pure sometimes. Sometimes it was mixed with gunpowder or spoiled water. Now that's a true pirate cocktail. Arr.
Wow.
And now I will give us our crew. We ride on the Crimson Cutlass, the notorious across the seven seas for rum, mischief, and outrageous antics. Our captain has taken a couple of our crew members away today to play some sort of game with a stick and a stone, trying to hit it in a gopher hole. I don't know. Arr. But here it is, the ranks and members. Captain Dan Deadeye Dempsey, the fearless leader, commands with cunning, cannons, and grins that chills the bones. Oh, and then we have first mate Justin Sharktooth Kelly, master of strategy, mischief, and keeping the rum barrels full. Then we head to quartermaster Dustin Deadshot Johnson, divides treasures, fires cannons, and keeps the crew from mutiny. mostly. Navigator Ryland, the Roth Texta, knows every hidden cove and the fastest route to the rum stash. Arr.
That's for sure.
Boatswain Ben Ironbeard Wigington oversees the deck, the sails, and unruly parrots. Arr, 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 arr. Brotherly terror Jason Blackwater Kelly, twin terror of first mate Justin, specializes in mischief and chaos. And I, crew member Brian Stormbringer Williams, loyal and fearsome, brings thunder to fights and occasional tavern brawls. And lastly, our backup host, rear guard Jack, Blackjack Coakley, last in line, but still dangerous, mostly sneaking snacks from the rum barrel. Oh, so everyone that hits the bars or the taverns tonight, yo-yo-ho and a bottle of rum, those scurvy dogs and scallywags. And I'll leave you with one last joke. Where is a pirate's favorite place to shop?
What? I don't know.
Menards. Happy Friday, everybody. Oh my God.
You better peg leg over to Krispy Kreme right now and get some office donuts.
Holy
here.
cow.
Yeah, I wish I had the heads up. I would have gotten some royalty-free pirate music to put behind you, but I wouldn't have laughed half as hard knowing it was coming. So,
And your boy's going to be shot today, buddy.
wow.
Par for the course.
Well,
Happy Friday.
Cheers indeed.
Happy
Friday,
Friday,
everyone. Listen, if you listen, that takes a lot of love and commitment. And if you love the show half as much as we like putting it on, give us a like or subscribe on YouTube. Helps us out with the algorithms. It gets our show out to a wider audience, and it keeps you up to date on what's going on here with AgYield. I'm still laughing about it. So we're doing this every day the markets are open on X, Facebook Live, YouTube Live at 8:15 Central Time. Dan will be back with everyone on Monday, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you guys for coming on and committing fully. And thanks again. See ya.
Happy Pirate Day.
Arr.
The War Room is proudly presented by AgYield. For over 50 years, the AgYield team has provided grain marketing and risk management solutions for growers across the country. Our veteran consultants harness cutting-edge technologies to pinpoint risk, optimize market performance, and protect your farm's profitability. Discover a new approach to farm revenue management at agyield.com.
Hey guys, Jack here. Be sure to support the show by hitting the like button, leaving us a comment, and subscribing to the channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.